Hello, everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha, and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I appreciate your support. And as you might know, I've changed things a little bit over the past week, and so I'm not doing videos every single day. I'll be only posting on Thursdays for now. Let's see how it goes in the future. Maybe I'll increase it to twice a week. But all of my videos are going to be on my Soul Vitamins membership site, which is at boomshikha.com. So the link is below in the description. You can check it out if you want. And if you are a YouTube subscriber or a viewer for a long time, I give you a 50% discount code. So just message me and let me know if you're interested, and I'll send you the code. So in this one, I wanted to speak to you about the right tool for the right job. And you're probably thinking, right tool for the right job? Of course you need the right tool for the right job, boom. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But I'm really actually thinking of it in terms of the deeper version of it. Not just, oh yeah, you need a knife to cut things and you need a hammer to hammer things in. Like, it's not as simple as that. Although that is very useful as well. I mean, I didn't have a pair of scissors for the longest time when I was in Chiang Mai, and it was a pain to cut things with a knife. I really was like, why don't I just buy a pair of scissors? And then I'm like, no, I want to be a minimalist. It was very foolish of me, of course. And then I bought a pair of scissors, and it was just like, whoa, hallelujah, you know, like, it's like I can cut everything so easily. Which is like, it's like, I'm not even cutting things that often, but, you know, whenever I did need it, it was very useful. But I'm speaking in this video a little bit more about how if you don't have the right tool to do the thing that you need to do, it's like wedging in like a square peg into a round hole. It literally is like the most difficult thing on the planet. And you can try, and you're like, you can try for months or years on end, and it will not work. It's literally impossible. And I'll give you an example why I started speaking about this. It has to do with my membership site. And so I started thinking about this a couple of months ago, that I wanted to be less censored, and I want to share in a manner that I want to share. Like, I wanted to have more control over that. And so, I started thinking about, how can I do it? How can I move my videos over to a spot where it would still be easy for people to find it and watch it, but it would be censored and things like that. So I started thinking about this, and of course I started looking into different platforms. And one of my friends suggested a platform called Kartra. And if you haven't heard of it, it's totally fine. It's a very obscure platform that only people who are interested in this kind of stuff are going to know. So I went on it, and I was like, all right, let me try it out. Of course, a lot of these platforms need a little bit of a learning curve, because it's a little bit difficult to learn. You have to do all these things in the back end. So I was like, all right, I'll take the next couple of months to learn the platform. And so I went in every single day, and I played around with it, and I worked with it. But it's very difficult for me to use it, because what I wanted to do with my website, the idea I had in my head, it was like, like I said, it's kind of like pushing in a square peg into a round hole. I was really trying to make Kartra work for me, but there were all of these problems with it. Not problems particularly like in general, but like it just wasn't suitable for me and my needs, basically. It's a great software, but not suitable for me. But I still tried. I was like, oh, I really want to make this work. I think I've spent so much time already. I spent so much effort on learning it. I didn't want to just give up on all that time and effort, of course, right? I was being like, ugh. So then somehow I was like, all right, obviously this is not working out. So I kind of put it on hold, and I started looking at other platforms. And I looked at 3 or 4 others. And then finally there was this really obscurely named platform called Podia, Podia, Podia. And I was like, oh, Podia, it sounds like a really dumb name. I'm not even gonna look at it, right? Of course, I'm such an idiot sometimes. Basically, the idea is, but I was like, no, it's on the list of good platforms to look at. They wouldn't have put it on the list if it wasn't a good platform. Look at it. Don't be such an idiot. That's how I talk to myself sometimes. And so I looked at it, and it was like, hallelujah, right? Like angels singing over me. It was the right platform for me. From the first day onwards, it was like the easiest thing. It is the easiest platform to use. So easy to learn. And within 5 days of me starting with Podia, I had my membership site ready, and I launched it. Within 5 days, right? And so obviously I love Podia, and I'm advocating for it. So if you're interested in starting a website or a membership site or putting your courses on there, I do recommend it. And I have my referral link down in the description below. But more than that, I love it because it made my life so easy. And it literally is the idea behind, okay, if it's the right tool for the right job, it's going to work out perfectly. You're not going to have to wedge it in any shape or form. Literally, it is the perfect tool for me, the perfect platform for me in almost every single way. There's a couple of things that are not completely right, but they're working on it right now. It's not perfectly perfect, obviously, which is fine. But they're working on it right now, which is obviously what I need. Is like, okay, eventually, if I can have that feature, I'd be really happy. But in general, it is literally 99.9% perfect for my needs and for my desires, and it has helped me build exactly what I wanted to build with my website, right? Now, again, of course, as I'm doing this video, you're like, oh, this is such a basic idea. But I think we forget that the basic ideas are a lot of times the important ideas, and we forget them and we pretend like it's only basic, of course. Yeah, I know it. Do you really know it? Like for me, I repeat these basic ideas to myself over and over again because I know I don't know. I pretend I know. I think I know. My ego thinks it knows, but it doesn't know, and it's a complete waste of my time because I wasted a whole month. I mean, of course, you can look at it and be like, well, I needed to go through that in order to be here. Yeah. But I still, I spend a lot of time learning a platform where I'm never probably ever going to use it. Well, I shouldn't say never, but probably never going to use it. And so it's funny because after using Kartra and how difficult it was for me to using Podia is like literally, I feel like it's child's play. I feel like I'm working with a software that's the easiest. It's like Word, really. Like it's like so easy to use. It's so easy. So sometimes I message them. I'm like, is this really done? Like it says green, but I'm like, are you sure it's working? It's so easy. How could it be so easy? Literally that easy. It's such an amazing platform. I'm so grateful to have found it. But again, the right tool for the right job, right? It's like, okay, so let me try and wedge this in. Like, yeah, I can figure it out. I can make this harder for myself. Why do we do this to ourselves? Like, why did I do that to myself? Why didn't I think about it for a second and say, okay, obviously this is not working out. Maybe this is not the right platform for you. Yes, you spent a little bit of time on it, but go look for something else. And thankfully, I did go look for something else, but seriously, it took me forever to do it, right? A month that I could have been doing something else with. But that's okay. Maybe this is the reason that I could do this video now. But really, like for the future, I am always going to look at it and think, okay, is this the right tool for the right job or for this job? And if it's not, maybe I should look for a different tool, because really, if you have the right tool, everything is just so easy. It's so easy. I don't know if I explained myself properly, but if I did, I hope I did. And if you have stories to share with me, I'd love to hear about that as well. I mean, I remember this one time we didn't have a rake in our house, and my parents were like, "Oh, should we really buy a rake for one day? Like, we don't have that many leaves, and we usually just use it once a year, twice a year, maybe. Really?" They're like, "Really? Do we need a rake?" And so of course, my father was like being ingenious, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go use a broom, and I'm gonna sweep this leaves into the broom set. And so he's like sweeping the leaves into the pan and then throwing it into a bag and sweeping it. And it took him literally 2 hours to rake the whole, maybe even more than that, to rake the leaves. And then the next day I was like, my sister's like, no, don't do that anymore. Just buy a rake. It's $11 or whatever. It's cheap. Just buy the freaking rake. Even if you just use it once a year, it's so much faster. And so he didn't believe it, but he's still like, all right, fine, I'll go buy one. And he bought one, and it took him maybe 20 minutes to rake all of the leaves in the yard. And it was so easy. His back didn't hurt. He wasn't bending up and down, doing all these shenanigans. And so really, literally, at that moment, I should have learned, but I didn't, that the right tool exists for the right job, or right tool always exists for the particular job you want to do. And so you need to realize, okay, am I using the right tool? Because if it's difficult, or if it's kind of like, like you're trying to wedge in a square peg into a round hole, it's an indicator to you that you're using the wrong tool for the right job, or for the job, right? And you just need to kind of take a step back and realize, okay, what tool do I really need for this? I'm using a pair of scissors, but should I be using a pair of pliers? Like, I'm using a broom, but should I be using a rake? Sometimes it's pretty clear. Sometimes it's harder to delineate that, but I'm sure you can figure it out. All right, again, I am so grateful for your support, and I hope that you will check out my membership site at boomshikha.com. And again, I appreciate everything that you've done for me till now. I hope that you'll keep on watching these videos even though they're only once a week. And I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.